Hello world, hello Facebook, hello all those watching this on listenvisionlive.com. It's the Nitty Gritty Show. It's your boy Jay DeCosta.
It's your girl Katniss.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty.
It's Tim Wise. You're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
Everybody, this is Stevie Powell. You're now watching the Nitty Gritty Show. Check it out.
And so I'm DeCosta, and you need to watch the Nitty Gritty Show.
My name is Sherman Moss, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
That's the Grant Thompson, aka G. Ainsworth, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
I'm Anthony White, and this is the Nitty Gritty Show.
Yeah.
Bam, it's Jay Thompson. You're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
You are watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
My name is Jay Grant Thompson, and guess what? You're in tune to the Nitty Gritty Show.
I'm Will Jawando, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
And my name is Mitch Holmes, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
My name is Peter DeCosta, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
This is Pastor Rob, and you're on the Nitty Gritty Show.
I'm Ray Pittman, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
Hey, this is Jonene for the For Wellness, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Benny Black, and you are watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
It's time for the Nitty Gritty. Conversations get real live. It's time for the Nitty Gritty. The revolution's not televised. It's time for the Nitty Gritty. Reaching out to your conscious mind. It's time for the Nitty Gritty. More than talking, we're taking action. It's time for the Nitty Gritty.
Here with Jonene for the For Wellness. Happy to be here with you on a beautiful Sunday. Now, Jonene, we've had you on the show before, but a lot of people don't know about your personal journey and what got you on this path. So what got you into nutrition, into wellness, overall just living a healthier lifestyle?
Yeah, so basically just my family experience growing up. I have a lot of family that's morbidly obese and are suffering with diseases because of that. So, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, things of that nature. These are things that are pretty much 100% preventable if you just have good nutrition and fitness. And so watching people suffer from things like that kind of got me towards this path to make sure, number one, it doesn't happen to me too, because genetically I'm kind of predisposed, but also to help other people not have to experience those types of things as well.
Wow, and a lot of people always say, like you are what you eat. How important, because you are licensed in nutrition, you went to school for that, right? Mm-hmm. How important is eating? Because there's all these diet fads out there and people starve themselves. There's a lot of medications given. We'll talk a little bit further into that. But how important is what you eat?
Yeah, so there are these memes out there that kind of like say, fitness is 80% nutrition, 20% working out. And that's actually pretty true. I mean, when it comes to, I would say, wellness. So when it comes to overall health, it really is very important. A lot of the diseases that we're dealing with, chronic diseases like diabetes, like cancer, like autoimmune diseases, eczema, acne, these things are directly related to the types of foods that we're eating and can, like I said, pretty easily be cured or alleviated if you eat properly.
Yeah, because one thing that is talked about, and it doesn't come up, but yeah, like skin diseases. Mm-hmm. A lot of times there's all these creams that are prescribed by doctors, and you have all kind of like pills that young kids are taking mm-hmm. to fix their skin, mm-hmm. but then they're still drinking pop.
Yep, exactly. I mean, and so I think that our country, I heard this guy on a video once say that we don't have health care, we have sick care, and that's really what it is. And a lot of the medicines that we have, that traditional Western medicines, are really just kind of like keeping us alive, but not really curing the problems that we have. It's like just basically getting rid of the symptoms, but not getting rid of the underlying issue, which is usually directly related to your digestive system and what goes in it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So like how bad is like soda for people in juice? Like, or is there such thing as a healthy soda or a healthy juice? Like, I always hear, conflicting things. They always say like, that's a lot of calories brought in. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's two things going on with soda. So people will say, okay, so first of all, the sugar component, right? So like whenever there's sugar, there's a lot of negative side effects to that. Number one, getting extra calories, which means that, you know, you could gain weight from that. But there's other things too that sugar could be related to. But a lot of people don't mention phosphoric acid. So when you're talking about soda, the fizz comes from phosphoric acid. So whether you're drinking diet, because people will say, well, drink diet so that you don't get all the sugar. But you still have phosphoric acid, which actually prevents your body from absorbing calcium the way it's supposed to. So it can contribute to osteoporosis, delayed growth in children. So children, I always tell parents, should never, ever drink fizzy stuff unless it's free of phosphoric acid.
Wow. And how often?
What about the waters?
Same. Yeah.
Those sparkling waters?
Yeah. So if you look at the ingredients and it says phosphoric acid on it, this is something that you shouldn't give to kids. It could actually delay their bone growth.
Wow, I didn't know that. And you just assume because it's sparkling water that automatically you're in the clear.
And there are some that are free of phosphoric acid, but it's just, you got to look at the label. And these are things that most people don't know. They just think, oh, it's diet, it's sugar free, so it's okay. But you know, there's still other chemicals, dyes, things like that are in these drinks that you're giving to yourself and your kids that can be causing harm.
Now, sugar, because we know sugar has just been mentioned, and it kind of like just jogged my mind. You know, people always look at how many grams of sugar is in something, but is all sugar created equal? Because, like, for instance, like there's so much sugar in fruit. So, do you equate the same sugar that's in fruit to like sugar that's processed? Is there a difference there? Does it have the same effect on the body?
Yeah, so there's, I mean, if you go on the internet and Google it, it's a whole like big debate about, you know, sugar. Like there's good sugar, bad sugar, sugar is sugar. Like some people will say it doesn't matter the form, but I disagree with that. So sugar in fruit, I feel like it's a superior sugar. It's fructose. You can find fructose in a lot of different places, but the fructose that's in fruit is different because it's combined with fiber, which actually slows the absorption or digestion of the sugar. So it gives your body I guess a longer time span to use it for energy, so less likely to convert to fat. Whereas if you get fructose in like cereal that doesn't have a lot of fiber in it, then unless you use it, your body's gonna be like, okay, I'll put it right here.
And that's how we get the gut.
Yeah, so it all depends on like what you're eating it with, what you're pairing it with, and if it comes from sugar. Not to mention you also get a lot of good vitamins and minerals and antioxidants from fruit that you don't get from eating a candy bar. Yeah, so do I think all sugar is created equal? No, I don't.
All right, yeah, because that helps me because I like fruit.
Yeah.
I enjoy fruit. I like watermelon and all that good stuff, right?
Fruit is good, but then there are also like lower, well, we call it in my world, lower glycemic fruits. So fruits that have doesn't spike insulin, I guess, as much as others. And so things like apples, strawberries, blueberries are lower glycemic. They don't cause a huge insulin spike. But things like pineapple, which have higher amount of fructose and lower fiber, does. So those are the sweeter ones you kind of maybe want to do in moderation. But strawberries, blueberries, I eat daily. I eat an apple every day. So
wow.
So fruit is not bad.
Yeah, because you know, like when you mentioned the glycemic levels, because I know that like I've had family members who have been in, you know, either had diabetes or like pre-diabetes, and they've been warned by their doctor, or maybe just because maybe how obese they were at the moment, they've been like told not to eat stuff like strawberries or grapes. Is that because those higher glycemic levels there, and they have to be, I guess they're on like a red alert, more or less, if you will?
Yeah, so strawberries are pretty low sugar, and so my diabetic patients or clients, I encourage them to eat strawberries and blueberries. Grapes, not so much. They are higher sugar. So I don't recommend those as much. If they do, just, you know, in moderation, maybe once a week or so, but not daily.
And since we're talking about healthy eating and things to pick from, there was this debate about, like, every time you look on the news, and maybe like we should start paying some things so much attention, but I read recently where now spinach is something that we're not supposed to eat, right? They're like, oh, it's an inflammatory and spinach is bad for you. But, you know, we grew up watching Popeye. He ate spinach and got nice and big and strong. You know, I like spinach. So, like, I feel like spinach is better than eating rice. But I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm going to ask you, put you a little bit on the spot.
Yeah.
You know, what are your feelings toward maybe not just spinach, but all these different things? It's like once upon a time it was good for you. Now it's like it's natural, but somehow now it's no longer good.
Yeah, so, okay, so here's my take on food in general. Like if you eat too much of any one thing, even if it's considered a good thing to most people, like spinach, let's say, then it could be bad. So spinach has vitamin K, spinach has iron, all those things our bodies needs, but both of them, if you get too much, can cause problems. So that's kind of like typical of every single piece of food in nature. I mean, but that's why we have so much of it, so that we don't have to rely on one thing. If you vary everything and eat all of it pretty much in moderation, I think you should be fine. But the only thing that I tell people to stay away from is stuff that you can't like go out and pick, or an animal that you can't see before it's slaughtered. You know what I mean? So like stuff that's in boxes, stuff that is like you cannot find a Fruit Loop on a tree. You know what I mean? So like stuff that's not naturally occurring in nature, those are the things you can kind of stay away from. But if it's naturally occurring in nature, even if it's something that like beef, a lot of people come to me like, oh, I don't eat beef, I'm trying to like be healthy. Like there's nothing wrong with beef. Like, but if you eat it all the time and you're eating fatty cuts of beef, then yeah, that could be unhealthy. But everything in moderation is okay if it's naturally occurring.
Wow, so I'm happy you said that, because a lot of people have gone vegan now. They seen what the hell, and they're trying to stay away from meat or these things. But then I see a lot of people substituting that meat with processed meat, and that's probably just as bad, if not worse, right?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of sodium. That's the number one thing, and a lot of, especially African American communities, suffer from hypertension. So if you're going from not eating chicken or fish or whatever, which is fine. Let me say I love my vegan people. My mom is a vegan, so I'm not anti-vegan. I think that you should do whatever it is that you want to do, but do it in a healthy way. Stay away from processed foods. Eat more whole foods than processed. But yeah, so like the Morningstar stuff, if you look at the sodium count, it's super high. So like you might be giving up cholesterol in beef for hypertension in Morningstar stuff. Yeah.
Got it. Now, switching up gears a little bit, the world is crazy right now that we live in when it comes to everybody wants a quick way to health, right? There's a lot of these new trendy things to do, like, oh, you'll lose so many pounds if you do this. You have a lot of people that's like, bump it, I'll just go under the knife. And there's some that's like, oh, if I don't have a big enough booty, I'm just going to pump something into it. What are some things that maybe our viewers should be cognizant of before doing something like that? I know some folks want to do it. Is it true maybe that you can actually change any part of your body a natural way?
Well, as a bodybuilder, which is what I do, I would say that, yeah, you can create the body that you want within the genetics that you have. So it would be unrealistic of me to say, a person could have a huge, gigantic butt, but you can build a bigger butt that's high and nice and firm if you do the correct exercises. I do think that our country, especially, because I don't see these trends other places in the world, but our country especially is so driven towards looking a certain way that they don't really even care about how they feel or how they are on the inside as far as their health is concerned. So my suggestion would be to, number one, focus on your mindset and make sure that you're accepting yourself as who you are before you do any procedures that would surgically alter your body. That's the first thing. And number two, do what you can naturally first. So like, get your eating under control, find a professional that can help you with that. Start working out, try to build the body that you want, lose the weight that you want naturally. And then if you have other things that are underlying after you've gotten your mental together and your physical together, then if that's the step you want to take, then go ahead.
What are your thoughts on water fasting? Because on the Breakfast Club, they've had I can't remember what doctors they were.
There's a group of doctors.
But they've been on there on more than one occasion, and they're like literally promoting people should do like a 7-day water fast, at bare minimum 3-day water fast. Allegedly, it can kind of help cure and revitalize and restart your digestive system.
Yeah, so I think that is based on the fact that we eat like crap. If we ate good stuff every single day, then we wouldn't have to rely and reset our digestive tracts. If you ate fibrous, fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean proteins every single day, your gut will be perfectly fine. But because we eat McDonald's and because we eat like, you know, Fruit Loops and drink like all kinds of crazy, you know, sodas or whatever, our digestive tracts are messed up. So maybe if people are eating like crap, then it would benefit them. But, you know, again, my suggestion is do what you got to do to be healthy. And if you are, you don't have to rely on craziness like intermittent fasting to you know, reset your digestive tract, or drinking a bunch of water for 3 days straight and not eating. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, because why is it that, you know, people will do like these extreme diets, right? Where, you know, maybe they're doing intermittent fasting, or they're fasting, or they're like eating like peas literally for a meal. Why is it that these people have like a, I don't know, it's like a relapse effect? They lose a bunch of weight over a period of time. They're doing like a shake a day or 2 shakes a day in one meal, but then the second they stop that regimen, they're almost bigger than when they started from initially. Why does that happen?
Well, I think your metabolism kind of slows down. So really what you're doing when you're fasting is you're restricting your body of calories, and your body gets used to operating at that level. So if you're only eating like 800 calories a day, let's say, because you're doing IF, intermittent fasting, for 3 months, your body gets used to functioning with 800 calories. And once you go back to normal, you know, you can start eating 2,000 calories a day again, your body's going to like pack everything back on because it's used to operating here, and now you're giving it way more than what it's used to operating with. So it's going to use that extra to store as energy, well, as fat, I should say.
And, you know, I meant to ask this earlier, but going back to almost like unrealistic expectations that, and I'm happy that you said it that way, this country sets on ourselves. There was a post, I follow you on social media, the Nitty Gritty, we follow you, right? And you had made a post about Serena Williams.
Yeah.
And it was, you were talking about how, you know, she has cellulite on her butt. But I'm a man, and I could say Serena Williams is a good looking woman, in my opinion at least. She got it in all the right places.
Right.
But for some reason we've created this, maybe these unrealistic expectations that women can't have cellulite and at the same time be athletic or be healthy, that somehow cellulite is a symbolism of not being healthy. But you had an explanation towards that, and I was hoping that you'd give a little bit more thought to that for our viewers that may not follow you yet on social media.
So what I posted was, the post came from a conversation I was having with a group of friends, and we were talking about, you know, like what we're wearing during the summer, and like one was saying, well, I'm not wearing my shorts because I got a little bit too much going on or whatever. And now afterwards I thought about that. Well, you know, why shouldn't you wear your shorts? And this particular lady, she's a lifter. So I read an article about cellulite, and it actually is more likely for a person that has more muscle in their legs to have cellulite than a person that doesn't. So in other words, it's more likely for a lifter, somebody who is very athletic, to have cellulite when they have body fat, than a person who has very little muscle, which is weird. But there, insert Serena Williams, like she's the most athletic, the most agile, the most powerful athlete that our country has right now, and she has cellulite, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I don't know where it came from that everything should be smooth, you know, like cellulite has existed from the beginning of time, and it's really just how your body fat is on your body. But her body fat is not high. She's a supreme athlete. But somehow women have it in their mind that that's not okay, or if we have it, then that means that we are fat. And it's completely not the case. I know girls that are like 15-14% body fat and have cellulite, and that's, if you don't know, that's super low for a girl to be in the teens with body fat. So yeah.
Yeah, cause like a healthy range for women, if I read correctly, is like 19 to like almost up to almost close to 30% body fat for a woman, right?
Yep.
Because men who have, make sure I've been paying attention, men who are like at 14% body fat, those are guys who typically have abs. Like you start showing definition, good definition, at 14% body fat, right? So I think the realistic expectations are crazy. And one thing I wanted to throw on there too was, it's refreshing to hear someone in your field give people the leeway to just still be human and to embrace them natural selves.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times, the predisposition towards people in your industry is that you guys are looking for perfection, that you won't accept anything less than perfection. How do you communicate that to your clients? Because you have a book of clients. How do you communicate that to them when maybe they want something for themselves that's unrealistic, or they're trending on the verge of being actually unhealthy, thinking they're trying to be healthy.
I have a lot of clients that come to me like that, unless my clients that come to me that are wanting to compete, those standards are completely different. So taking that off the table, my general population clients, when they come in, they're like, oh, I want to lose 40 pounds. Take that off the table, like completely. Like, I'm not interested in how much weight you want to lose. I'm not interested in what size dress you want to wear. I'm only interested in your health. And if your health is right, your body will follow suit.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is we're going to do something interesting here. We're going to do some workouts with you. Before we get into some of the workouts, what are some healthy things that you think people could do for the summer? What are some things that people can stay away from? We're in the DMV area. A lot of people like to run, right? And I see people sometimes running at index heat times a day. Yeah. Is that something that people should stay away from? Should we continue in that kind of behavior? Because I'm always concerned when I see it. Like,
I'm concerned
it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely want to be mindful of the temperature outside, the humidity outside. I mean, even if the temperature is relatively normal, 75, 78, but the humidity is really high, it's going to cause you to lose a lot of water. You can become dehydrated, and it can really be bad for you. So I would say, try to do it, after 6 p.m. or before 8 a.m. When the temperatures are low and the humidity is lower, or find a local gym, run on the treadmill. Running is good. Any cardio is good, especially if you're trying to lose body fat. That's really good for doing that. But also lifting weights, which is what we're going to do today, is good for building muscle, which also helps you lose body fat as well.
Got it. And then how much water should people be drinking before they go outdoors? Because we have the summer athletics going on. You have a lot of soccer, a lot of baseball, a lot of kids that run track, and or the summer programs. They get ready for some of our fall sports like football and all that. What should they be mindful with water? Are there any ways to tell by looking at someone that they're drinking enough water?
So I would say, my regulation typically is take your body weight divided by 2. That's how many ounces minimum you should be drinking per day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 100 ounces of water at least per day. Now, if you're exercising, you need to add to that. So that is, I'm just chilling regulations, right? So if you're going to work out, if you're going to run, then you should be hydrating as you're doing so, to make sure that you're replacing the water that you lose while you're sweating.
And that's pure water. So where does, like, you see the Gatorade commercials and all that, for like, this is what athletes need because electrolytes. How important is that? Or is that almost a myth that you need all these electrolytes? So
electrolytes are important, and you do lose electrolytes when you sweat. You lose sodium, you lose potassium. But I think if you eat healthy, then you'll be fine. Yeah. So I think that Gatorade and Powerade is not necessary. Yeah. But I will say that I do drink BCAAs, which stands for branched chain amino acids, which includes potassium and sodium intra-workout. So while I'm working out, I do drink that to replace electrolytes, but I don't think it's necessary to be okay.
Cool. So, well, we're going to work out. We're going to have you and Kat work out together. I want to film, and this is going to be fun, okay?
Okay.
All right.
What is a good exercise to build your butt, to make sure that it's nice and plump and juicy?
So my favorite exercise, and if you follow me on Instagram, you already know, is hip thrusts. And hip thrusts are really good for glute development.
I've seen you doing those hip thrusts before. They look hard.
Yeah, they are. We're going to try them today.
All right. Oh, go work the booty. So I made a comment about squats. And I was talking about how, that's not to work the booty. But you corrected me. So you can let our people know what squats are for, so I can stop saying that squats are going to work booty, because I was a little wrong. Thank you for correcting me, though.
Yeah, so squats are the supreme leg exercise, so they're really good for quad and hamstring development, but not really so much for glutes. I mean, you will get some glute activation in there, you will get some glute work, but it's not a glute exercise. So when people talk about the squat booty, it's if you see a person, a guy or a girl, who doesn't matter, and they have a really muscular, well-developed gluteus maximus, minimus, and all that medius, then they're probably doing other exercises in addition to squats.
All right, well, thank you for that. I hope the viewers will get a lot from that.
We're doing single leg, some people call them single leg bridges or single leg glute raises. So basically what we're doing is We're putting the middle of the foot on the edge of the bench. The other leg kind of hangs out. And with this leg, Katrina is using her glute to push her body all the way up. And using her arms to push into the floor to stabilize her upper. Right? So if I were doing this exercise, I would probably do maybe 3 or 4 sets of 25 to 50 on the left leg and then 25 to 50 on the right leg. So this one actually will get some hamstring action too. Yeah. That's just one thing I want you to focus on when you do it is not to squat, but do keep a soft knee so you don't want to lock out your knees. Alright, so as you go into this lift, you're going to use your hip hinge skills and you're going to push your hip back, but you're going to keep your back flat and balance the bar at the base of your neck. And then squeeze your glutes as you come up to the top and keep all the weight in your heel. So it's basically like you're bowing, like in Asian culture, when you bow to greet somebody, you're bowing, but keeping your back completely flat and pushing your hips. With the one leg, you're going to stabilize with the foot is here. This back leg, it's going to like go, it's going to like pretty much stay where it is, but as you go down, it's probably going to go up. Okay. Right? So this barbell is going to stay against my leg. I'm going to keep a soft knee. I'm going to go down, keep my back flat, my shoulders back, down as far as I can, and then back up. Squeeze the glute.
And this is working the butt.
Yep.
Ladies, so if you're trying to get that booty right for the summer, you're trying to get a brother to take you to Antigua, this is what you need to be doing right here.
So yeah, this is all glute. Well, I would say 80% glute, 20% hamstring. But hamstrings are important to push those glutes up. Nina's about to do probably one of the best lifts for lower body for legs, which is a barbell squat. So to properly execute the barbell squat, you want the barbell at the base of your neck, not on your neck, but at the very bottom. You want to hold the barbell so that you have equal amounts of weight on both sides. So there are little lines on the barbell that show you where to place your hands. You want your feet about hip width or maybe a little bit wider than hip width apart. As you go down into the squat, you're going to first push your hips back. So your hip joint is going to be the first joint that moves, and then your knees will follow suit. So as you go down into your squat, a lot of people, Katrina's doing this perfectly, a lot of people will bring their heels off the floor, but it's really important that you keep your heels on the floor and you press through your heels and keep the weight in your heels the entire time. As you come up from the squat, you want to squeeze your glutes. All right, so Katrina, can you, I want to say this because I see bros doing this in the gym all the time. So they'll put a bunch of weight on and then they'll do like half squats. Now actually there is a therapeutic such thing as a half squat or a quarter squat where you have a knee injury, you're trying to build the upper part of your knee, but these guys are just lifting too heavy and not going down low enough. So can you show them what I mean by that? Like just doing, that's actually not that bad. It's a little bit more dramatic. Yeah, that's not a squat.
Not a real squat.
No, it's not a real squat. So it lets you go into 90 degrees, which is the goal. Katrina's going past lower than 90 degrees, but go to 90. So go to 90 degrees where your thigh and your knee form a 90-degree angle here. Unless you're going to 90 degrees, it's not low enough. So that should be your goal. And if you can't get to 90 degrees, you need to lower the weight until you can't get to 90 degrees.
You know, you've talked a lot about form, but it is really important to have proper form, right?
It is. I mean, if you're not going to have proper form, then why do the exercise? Because you're not going to be targeting the muscles that you're trying to target.
And if you
so, for example, in this exercise, let your arms hang. In this exercise, if you don't have proper form, you could hurt you could injure your back. And then Katrina I just told her to straighten her arms as she was going down. She was lifting here. So she was really like engaging her biceps when really we're trying to engage the glute and the hamstring. So, when you have proper form, you run the risk of injury, number one. And then number two, you're not getting the work that you're trying to actually get.
Got it. You was talking earlier about what's too much weight. You see guys do it all the time. Bench press, whether it's like, curls. Everybody wants to lift more weight. But what's too much weight? How can you define too much weight?
So I always say, you got to choose form over weight. So once you get to the point where your form is being compromised, then it's too much weight. You need to take some off and then get your form together. And once you can lift that weight with proper form, try to go up slightly. And then try to lift that weight with proper form. And if you can't, go back down until you can. So form over weight always.
So the brothers, they're going to be all right. They're going to still get big muscles.
Yes.
If they drop the weight down, they will be okay, right?
Yes, and actually you could be impeding your progress by like using your legs to do a bicep curl. Your arms should be doing the work, not your whole body, okay?
Got it. All right. Wait, we ain't out here dancing. We out here working out, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're doing the easy bar bicep curls. So proper form for this, wherever your feet feel comfortable, your feet are great. So if you feel comfortable with a wider stance, that's fine. If you want to put them together, that's fine. It's not really a big deal. But you do want to start at your legs and curl all the way to your shoulders. Okay, so you start with a straight arm and curl all the way up to your shoulders. So I see a lot of people do this where they will bring their elbow up. And really what's that doing? So let's try to demonstrate that. So what I mean is like, so what that's doing is engaging shoulders. And so you don't want to do that. We're trying to keep the work here in the biceps. So keep your elbows at your side at all times and curl up. All right, another thing I see is people doing half reps. And again, there is a point for half reps, but if you're doing half reps, you should be doing half reps, not calling yourself doing bicep curls, but actually doing half reps. So what I mean by that is you're like bringing it up and not bringing it all the way back down. Like you're bringing it back like a quarter of the way, like you're stopping like, go up, people stop, go all the way up, and then they stop like, go back down a little bit. About right here, right?
Got it.
And that's not a full rep. So in order to get a full rep, you need to stretch in the muscle, like let the blood flow in there. That makes it a little bit harder, but that's proper form for a bicep.
Now, when will we do that half rep that you were talking about? Like, when is the time? Because I used to do this workout called like sevens. I know a lot of guys know what I'm talking about, right? So we'll do a couple of them, full extension. Then you'll do some of them where you come halfway up and then down. Then you do the others where you're halfway up and all the way up.
Yeah. So it stimulates, each part stimulates different parts of the bicep, upper, lower, and then full, right? So if you're doing a full bicep curl, it should be a straight arm to start and curl all the way up. So if you're starting from the bottom to the middle, that should be what it is, the bottom to the middle. If you're doing a bicep curl from the middle to the top, that should be what it is, from the middle to the top. But if you're doing a full bicep curl and you're only going down to here, that's not a full bicep curl.
Cheating yourself.
You are.
All right.
Katrina's going to demonstrate bent over rows. So for this, we bend over a little bit more. You want your a little bit straighter legs, but like a soft knee. Yes. And then your upper down. Yeah, that's good. So you want your upper at about a 45-degree angle. For this particular version, we're going to use a reverse grip, which works more of inner back. But if you were to do an overhand grip, you would get more rear delt action in there too. So from here, you're going to pull up to your belly button and then extend down to a straight arm. Pull up to your belly button, extend down to a straight arm. As you're pulling up, you're focusing on squeezing the shoulder blades together in your back. For shoulders. So for this, you will work right to pulling up a little high, pull it to your belly button. So for this exercise, you're working your inner back, which again helps with the tank top season, ladies and gents. This is a great exercise.
So if I have a bad knee and running on the concrete is probably not my best option, what would you recommend to lose fat?
I mean, you can walk. You can well, sometimes stair climber is problematic for people with knees, but a lot of my clients, I give them the arc trainer or the elliptical. So the arc trainer is like smushy where you go back. It's kind of like an elliptical, but you just kind of like move like this. So it's not a lot of knee flexion. So it's pretty good for knees, pretty easy on knees. And also the elliptical is very low impact, but you still burn a lot of calories. Yeah.
And how important is after you've worked out, you sweated and you lifted, is the cool down important or?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's really good to get a good stretch, make sure that you loosen all those muscles up that you worked out. I usually will do some cardio at the end just to kind of like, give my body, like loosen up all the muscles that my body just worked and to burn a few extra calories.
What should be people's commitments this summer to a healthier lifestyle? 3 times a day, 1 time a day, we just take it day by day.
3 times a day? Who's doing that? Well, I mean, commitment is all dependent on the person, but for general health, what I would say is that every single adult needs to be getting at least 30, you got me on that 3 times a day. 30 minutes of exercise, of physical activity every day, and that doesn't necessarily have to be in the gym. It could be going for a hike, going for a walk, swimming, whatever it is that you want to do, but at least 30 minutes of physical activity every day. If you're trying to lose weight, of course, you probably need to increase the amount of time that you're spending on exercise and focus on what you're eating.
All right, well, Jonene, thank you for letting us spend some time with you today. We really enjoyed it. Katrina got herself a workout. I got a little bit of workout. I got to carry the camera. But it was all good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Jonene, where can people find you if they want to reach out, get some advice, or maybe just follow your journey that you have on Instagram? Where can they go?
Okay, so my business page on Facebook is Ford Wellness Training and Consulting. On Instagram, you can find me at Ford_wellness. And my personal Instagram, if you want to follow my personal fitness journey, is not Yo Average Joe, but there's a period in between each word, so it's not period YO period AVG period JO.
Hi, I'm Leah. And I'm Corey. And you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
My name is Lawrence Sanders, and I'm here on the Nitty Gritty Show.
I'm Sandra.
And I'm Jerome. And we are the Scotts. And you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
I'm Dr. Robert J. Patterson, and you're now watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
My name is Chantal Russell, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
I'm Pastor Kelly Fox, and you're now watching the Nitty Gritty Show.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Smith, and you're watching the Nitty Gritty Show.